Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I was finally inspired last night to create one, so I thought I would share it with you. I am using the Mixed Triangles stencil from Mint Owl Studio. These are new last month. We added 4 stencils to our collection and we will be adding more because stencils are one of my favorite tools to use. I have the Walnut Stain Distress Ink, and I'm just putting this on my blending foam and then blending this into my background. For my background, I just have a piece of Coordinations 110-pound cardstock. I adhered that down a little bit to my nonstick craft sheet and then placed the stencil over the top of it just so that nothing would move as I was applying that ink. This is going to create a really subtle background, and this stencil is fun to use with distress inks, embossing paste, spray mist, just anything you can think of. So the stamps that I'm going to be using are also from Mint Owl Studio, and they are new last week. They were just released. This set is called Under Construction, and it is perfect for Father's Day cards. I know it's really hard to find more like masculine or manly stamps, so I wanted to create something that was easy to use. I stamped with a little machine. I don't even know what the technical term for it is called, but I am using my VersaFine ink because I'm going to be watercoloring these in with Distress inks. So I'm starting with the mustard seed, and I'm just adding this. I had a little bit too much water on my brush, so it kind of spread out and wasn't as bright, but you can always go back in and add more of the ink if you want that darker color. And I'm using the Distress markers just because it puts less ink on my mat, but you can definitely just use the ink pads, whether you have the full ones or the minis. So then I'm going to go in with the Wild Honey and just add a little bit of that darker yellow to parts of that tractor. I should also mention that Mint Owl Studio, we're having a sale this weekend, a Memorial Day or kind of that unofficial start to summer sale. You can take 20% off your purchase with the code MAYSALE. I will write that in the description below and also provide a link to the shop if you're interested. And that is 20% off your entire purchase. We have stamps, stencils, and sequins. The sequins are being discontinued. We're not going to carry those any longer, so the quantities of those are limited. I'm taking my hickory smoke and just adding some of that to the wheels and to the little construction workers' shoes. I'm also going in and adding some of that wild honey and mustard seed to his construction hat. And then I'm going in with the walnut stain and coloring in his hair and mustache. I just think this is such a fun little stamp set to color with, and it's really different than most stamp sets out there. So I'm going in with the Chipped Sapphire and coloring in his overalls. Now, when I did this with the Chipped Sapphire, when I added more water, it actually started turning purple. So I probably in the future would use the Faded Jeans because that one doesn't turn purple as much, but I find with the Chipped Sapphire, any of the Distress products, it typically turns a little bit more purple than darker blue. I'm next going in with the Antique Linen and coloring in the face and the hands. And then I also colored in the belt with that Wild Honey. And then for the shirt, I'm using the Fired Brick. And obviously, you could use whatever colors you want to color this. So you can see I'm just taking a little bit more of that Chipped Sapphire and trying to add it so that it's more blue instead of purple. And then I went ahead and fussy cut those images out. I also die cut a stitch circle with my Cuttlebug out of a piece of vellum. So what I'm going to do is first stamp my sentiment. This comes with some really fun sentiments and you can mix and match them. I am just going to stamp the one that says Happy Father's Day, and I have a little strip of white cardstock. I'm just going to ink that up with my VersaFine ink and then stamp that on to my strip of cardstock. Next, I'm going to go ahead and adhere down my vellum circle. I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive. You won't be able to see that adhesive through there because I'm going to be covering it up with my images. So I'm just going to trim off that little bit of extra on the back. And all of the supplies I'm using on this card will be linked below, along with a link to the shop and to the coupon code. So I'm taking some May Arts natural twine and I'm just cutting a little bit of that off, and I'm going to tie this around the edge of my sentiment just to add a little bit something extra to there. And I'm just tying this in a knot. I don't want to tie it in a bow because, again, I want it to be more of like a masculine Father's Day card. So I'll go ahead and just trim off the extras so they don't hang too long. And then I'm also going to cut the other end at a diagonal. So I went ahead and added my adhesive to the back, but I laid it down and then I remembered that I wanted to ink the edges with my walnut stain distress ink because otherwise it blended in too much to the background. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that right back up and then add a little bit of ink on the edges. And that just really helps define the sentiment more from the background. So now I can go ahead and just adhere that down. And then I'm going to adhere down my two little images that I cut and colored. First, I'm going to add that panel to my card base. I'm using a craft card base. It's an A2 size. And then to adhere my little images down, I'm going to use the Best Creation 3D foam squares. So I just have the large ones and I'll add a couple to the backs of each of those. And then I'll just go ahead and place them right down onto my card. And then one last step, I'm going to add some glossy accents to the window on the tractor. I don't really want to add any sequins or any other ribbons or anything like that, just because you don't really want that shine or bling on the Father's Day card. And then that's my finished card for today, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm trying to get more into making more videos, but I've just been really busy lately with designing all of the stamps. So make sure that you're subscribed to my channel if you're not already, and I will see everyone back here next time. Have a great weekend. Bye!